Okay, so today is a fun day. Today I am going to do some food photography for, let me just put this down, for a restaurant. Yeah, for a restaurant that I do some work for. I do all of their content creation and stuff like that. And it's a fun day today because I am actually going to be shooting using the Nikon ZF for the first time. So this is my first shoot using the ZF. I'm actually even recording this video right now using the Nikon ZF. But yes, food photography today, so stick around with me and let's see how it goes with the ZF. I'm just kind of packing up right now and stuff and getting ready to go. I have to head out shortly, so maybe I should probably continue packing. Yeah. Today's shoe options, and which one will we go with? This one. Yeah. Also, the shoot today, it is actually a brunch shoot, so I will be shooting their brunch menu. So I'm going for a little bit of a more sort of morning vibe. I'm going to go with very natural tones, not too much editing. I'm actually not going to be shooting with any flash as well too, just because I know that there's a particular spot in the restaurant where I get really good natural light, because there's a huge window to the right of the tables, so it's a really nice spot to do some really nice natural light food photography. And I think as well it'll be a good test for the ZF because we will see how well it performs in natural light. To be honest, I think that it'll do well. It's just that I'm not too sure how well I'll handle the controls and stuff like that while shooting. I'm not going to be using those dials on top just because the camera can be put into a mode where you can adjust the shutter speed and the ISO from just using the wheels in the back and the front. So yeah, let's head out. Also, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if it sounds good or not. Let me know in the comment section below if it sounds like crap. But yeah, it's I just refuse to put it on my t-shirt just because it does this, and about that life. Okay, so this is the restaurant. This is the table that I like to use. Here I am just getting ready to do a couple of test shots. This is where I like to do these shots. This table is really nice. This is a napkin that I put over the spotlight that's over the table because I really just want to use that natural light coming through that window to the right side of me. And here I am just arranging the items on the table. I didn't do much styling today, just used a couple of drinks to style the main dishes. Didn't want to go too overboard and take away too much from the essence of this shoot, which is to showcase the brunch items. So this is the chef. He came by to see what I was doing, just to make sure that, you know, our visions aligned for this shoot. And well, here are some of the shots I did today. Okay, so I'm now back at home and it's time to give you guys a little bit of a review on the ZF and how it performed on today's shoot. So it's important to note that I always shoot at this restaurant and I commonly use this particular spot in the restaurant, so I know pretty well how the light performs in that particular area. With that being said, the ZF sensor performed, I would say, almost exactly like the Z6, which is what I would typically use for a shoot like this. And to be honest, that's not a bad thing at all. The Z6 for me performs really well, so having the ZF perform very similarly in terms of the sensor and the image quality is really good. I love the way that the Z6 renders color, the contrast is always really good, and it performs well at high ISO levels. The grain is non-existent until you really reach past, I don't know, like maybe say 3200 ISO and so above, especially when shooting food in natural light. And I realized that I shot most of the photos today using 2000 ISO, and the grain was very, very minimal. It's not something that will destroy or ruin the photos or anything like that. A little bit of denoise in Lightroom would probably clear this up really nicely. The difference though in the ZF and the Z6 comes in with the autofocus. The autofocus in the Z6 is not great, especially using stuff like subject detect and all of that. I don't ever use subject detect in the Z6. Using it in the ZF though was phenomenal. It just felt like the camera knew what I wanted to focus on every single time. I'll go so far as to say that I think that the ZF performed a little bit better than the Z8. I shot the Z8 for a couple of photo shoots as well, and I felt like the ZF was a little bit more snappy than the Z8 in hitting the focus. Now the Z8 always hit focus, but it was just a little bit slower to do it. Today I felt like the ZF hit focus, and it hit focus very, very quickly. So the next thing that I want to talk about a little bit is the ergonomics of this camera. I used it with the newer hand grip, and honestly it felt like any other camera to me. My hands aren't very large, so it's not like I was uncomfortable using the camera and changing settings or anything like that. It felt pretty normal for me to shoot with. And in terms of changing my settings and stuff like that, I did not use the dials on top of the camera to adjust shutter speed and ISO levels. I put the camera in a mode where you could just use the back wheel to adjust the shutter speed, and if I held down the record button and I changed the back wheel, that would adjust my ISO levels. And of course the front wheel, that one was adjusting the f-stop. This setup worked out great for me and I have absolutely no complaints there. It just felt like I was shooting with my Z6, to be honest. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the Nikon 40mm f2 SE lens, which is this lens. And this little lens really surprised me today. I only intended to take it out and just shoot a couple shots with it, but I ended up using it for the entire shoot. It is so small and compact and light and so nice to use. It feels nice in your hands when you're actually shooting. It was surprisingly very, very sharp. Now I would say that it is not as sharp as something like the Sigma 85mm art lens. That is the lens I would usually use on a food shoot, but slapping this on, I had no reason to take it off. I thought that the 40mm focal length would be a little bit odd for food photography, but it just felt like I was shooting with a 35mm that did not have any sort of edge warping or anything like that. It just felt like it honestly felt like it was made for food photography, because it performed really well and throughout of the entire image was pretty sharp. So yeah, this lens is a really good lens for food photographers, especially if you're doing like really large table shots where things like a 85 and a 105 are not really ideal for. This comes in really nice for those wide table shots. So in conclusion now, will the ZF be my main camera for food photography? I would wholeheartedly say yes. Now it's not a huge step up from something like the Z6 or the Z6 II, but in terms of autofocus, it definitely is a huge step up. The image quality is pretty similar to what you would get from the Z6 and the Z6 II, and I assume probably very similar as well to the Z5, which I never had a chance to shoot with, but the camera really shines in terms of the autofocus abilities. For me, doing this sort of content creation for restaurants like this, it requires me to do a lot of shooting in a short space of time, which is fine, and I could shoot very quickly. It's just that you don't always get the chance to zoom in on every single photo to make sure that it is tack sharp. Today I was able to do that because it was a more of a relaxed shoot, and every time that I zoomed in I realized that this camera was hitting the focus perfectly. So yes, I'm definitely looking forward to using the ZF in my future food shoots and maybe some portrait shoots as well, to a wedding or two. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and making it all the way to the end. I hope that you guys got a little bit of an insight on what it is like using the ZF for food photography. And if you guys have any questions on the ZF, drop it in the comment section below and I would do my best to answer it to the best of my ability. Also, I would be absolutely honored if you guys would consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more content like this. So yeah, thanks again for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. There is a helicopter passing. I live in, where I live is very close to a heliport. So there's always helicopters flying by and the noise and dogs barking and man can't do nothing in this place, boy.